Hi everyone and welcome to the French Watch Collector. Today on the bench we can see we have a very special watch. We have a very nice Tudor, but you will see this one is very special. There is a nice complication inside, and look at this beauty. We can see the Tudor, and you can see on the side there is two crowns on this watch, which is very different. And you can see it's written on the dial. It's written alarm. So this is an alarm watch. And I'm just gonna check right now if the alarm is working. The watch looks like it's not starting, so I'm just winding a bit the alarm and just checking there. Oh yeah, we have a sound. Looks like it's working. But it doesn't work. Like it's not like even the sound. Like it's weird. Like like you have a high pitch and it slow down and it goes again. So it looks like there is some friction a bit inside the alarm system, and you can see the case back as well. So the watch is not working. So we're gonna do a full restoration. Actually, this watch is one from my subscriber from the US that sent me this watch for a service. I'm gonna see if and you will see inside. Actually, I can tell you right now, there is a couple of issue on this watch, and we're gonna see if we can assure that this watch will work again for the next years and the next few years even. We're just gonna open the watch right now, and you can see that there is a screw back, like a kind of a ring around on the case back. Just managed to turn it, and you can see Arctic brevet. I don't know, like there is no Tudor you see on the case back on this side. I guess it's and you can see inside, you can see the Tudor logo like inside, which is beautiful. Like even on a caliber, and you will see this is not a. And look, like there is a ring which there was a ring that was stuck inside the case there, and blocking the balance assembly. So that's why the watch wasn't working. As soon as and you see, like on a time grapher, the watch is working around 220, 230 on the amplitude. Obviously, the watch is gaining like 56 second, 59 second per day. That's quite a lot. Obviously, we're gonna do a full service. We're gonna disassemble everything, and we see when we're gonna disassemble this watch. Gonna see a couple of issues as well. But yeah, this would be a fun watch to see. A very different caliber as well. Just gonna remove now. You see the caliber and the winding stem there. Obviously, there is two winding stem on this watch. One from the timekeeping and one for the alarm. Now we should be able to, here we go. Remove the caliber there from the case. Just go line. And something I don't like on this watch actually is the hand, like the lume on hand, the color it's not right. I mean, like it's green. So actually the owner asked me to change as well the lume, and you will see at the end which kind of result we can get on the lume there. We're gonna redo the hand as well. Just gonna remove. You see, I just managed to remove the hand. You see, there is 4 hands on this watch with the alarm end compared to let's say a normal watch. Just gonna remove the dial, which is in very good condition actually. And I love this vintage logo with the rose logo from Tudor. Just gonna secure it in this box there. And now I'm gonna fully disassemble this watch. Obviously, you will see it's a bit more complicated because we have this alarm complication. We see it now on the keyless work there, and on under the dial. There is quite a lot of parts for the alarm caliber. And you will see this caliber actually, which is not a Tudor caliber. You will see a bit more a bit later. But yeah, this is a caliber chase that was used by a lot of different brands for alarm watches, obviously. Just gonna remove, you see the first couple of parts from the alarm complication. Just gonna remove the cannon pinion there. And you see the caliber is, it's a bit dirty. Just gonna remove the power there, which is from the main power, which is makes the watch run. And you see on this one, you have two sources of power. You have the last one I just removed now on the main barrel, the mainspring. And now you have a second mainspring, a second spring, not the main one, which is only for the alarm. So we're just going to unwind it now just to make sure there is no power inside the alarm complication as well. Just going to check there if it's not too much handshake between the different, like there on the balance assembly. Looks like there is still a drop of oil there you see on a jewel there. I'm not sure if it's just dried up oil or if there is still some oil there. Obviously, we're going to clean everything and re-oil and re-grease when we reassemble the watch. That's why you do a service, yeah, on a watch, obviously. Just going to remove there, you see the balance assembly. Perfect. Checking if everything is okay. It looks okay, the balance assembly, so that's the good news. Just going to disassemble there, you see the pallet fork. And you will see on this watch a lot of the bridges are very tight to be disassembled. I don't know why. I guess the tolerance were a bit tighter on this caliber. And you see there you see the pallet fork stays stuck to the bridge here, and it's stuck. So I don't want to damage the pivot point of so just need to go very slowly just to put it very straight up. But yeah, it was like you see, like it's very sticky. So that's an indication of dried up oil or grease. Normally you don't oil or grease this ruby, but yeah, there is some, I don't know, some dirt, some dust that make it stick together. That's not good news. So yeah, obviously we need to clean everything. Just gonna check the handshake, and you will see on this wheel there will be a nice surprise. We'll see a bit later, but yeah, there is a big issue of one of the jewel, and see a bit later on this watch how we change one of the jewel there. Just gonna remove this bridge, which is very strange actually, the difference of color on this bridge. Looks like this bridge as well was, I don't know, it looks like it was sanded, like it was like polished, and you can see even the inscription on it, like it faded, but I don't know why, because it's not an automatic watch, so you don't have a rotor on top of it that can rub against the parts. So I don't know if somebody tried to polish this bridge there. Yeah, and you will see on a ruby a bit later on, like, yeah, it's something went wrong with this bridge, but yeah, we'll fix it. Just gonna start carry on deassembling the rest. You see, you have a bridge here with this center wheel. Just gonna remove it here. You see, like, very, very hard to remove the parts. And you will see on my bench here, I will try to keep all the parts in families. So yeah, just to make sure during disassembly, we keep it as family. During cleaning as well, we do the same thing. And like that, it's easier when we reassemble the parts. We know that some of the parts are together. We see a lot of play there. You see there on a barrel assembly. Look at it. Oh yeah, that's way too much play. You need a tiny bit of play between the parts because they need to move freely, obviously. But if you have too much play, you will see you will have like the parts will get to an angle, and they can touch and rub other parts, and that will ruin the accuracy of the watch. So that's why we're gonna adjust. You see this type of play that you have on the parts. And now we're gonna disassemble. You see this balance assembly. Obviously, we'll have a second one to do because we have, if you want, two barrel assembly on each watch. That's the one from the timekeeping. Obviously, that will go through the power. We go through the train of wheels that we already disassemble and go to the pallet fork and the balance wheel. And you see that it's very tight on the bridges there. I don't like to do that, but I like to use a screwdriver just to release this bridge. It's very tight. You see there on the screw here, on the setting lever screw there. It looks like it was a lot of you see a lot of marks on top of this screw there, which is not good actually, because they use the wrong size of screw. This is the barrel, the mainspring barrel, and now we're gonna disassemble the second barrel assembly, which is for the alarm. Obviously, you need to have a reserve of power to have this sound when the alarm is ringing. And this is this alarm, and you will see underneath of this barrel, yeah, of this bridge, we'll have obviously the barrel with a mainspring inside, but as well we will have a nice wheel that drive a hammer, and this is a hammer which is hitting against the case, and that gives this sound when the alarm is beating. You see there, just removing the bridge, and you will see underneath you have two rubies there. You will see on just on next of my tweezer there. You will have a wheel with a shape of a star, and you will have this huge hammer as well, which is giving the sound on the alarm. Here we go. So you see this is a hammer, and you will have this wheel there with this star-shaped wheel, and this is the source of the power for the alarm with a new mainspring inside. Just gonna disassemble the calendar and the dial. More, there is no calendar on this watch, but the dial side. Just gonna disassemble obviously the keyless work and the alarm complication. And the keyless work as well is more or less the same thing. You have two keyless work if you want on this watch, because you have two crown that you can pull. For example, the standard crown, or you see the standard position is to wind the watch. When you pull the crown, obviously you can adjust the time if you want to change the time on your watch. And the second one, obviously, is to wind the alarm complication. And when you pull on it, it's to adjust the alarm when you want your alarm to ring. So that's how you do it. And to engage or disengage as well the alarm, because you don't want your alarm to ring every time that the hour hand is going over the alarm end. So that's why as well you can choose to have the alarm or not, or to don't have the alarm working. So that's why you have kind of two setting lever there, one for the timekeeping and one for the alarm. That's what we are disassembling right now. Just removing, you see this is a setting lever there, and we just remove, you see, all the keyless work from the alarm, and now we're just doing the same thing on the timekeeping. So that's quite a lot of parts, you see, for this watch. Obviously, an extra complication. So we say extra complications, extra parts as well. Just removing the yoke, you see there with the spring. Basically, what we have on a normal watch, you see on this side, but you will see a lot more parts for the alarm as well. Just unwinding, you see there the setting lever screw here. Perfect. And you see still keeping all the parts by family on the bench. Managed to disassemble most of the parts you see there. And if you did not subscribe to the channel as well, that will help a lot the channel to grow, and also, as well, to share the passion to all the watch lover there on YouTube. So if you want to subscribe, just subscribe as well. I'll try to put a video every 2 weeks, let's say, so you will get a nice reminder as well if you click on the bell icon every time I put a new video. And if you like the video as well, it will help a lot to promote my channel. Click on the like button, on a thumbs up, and it will help the channel and all the watch lover out there to share this video as well. Okay, so now we're gonna disassemble both barrel assembly, because obviously we have two on this watch. You see it's the same type of construction. You will have the ballast bar inside. You will have a mainspring. Just gonna disassemble it right now. You see, looks very dirty inside, so we're gonna remove everything. Obviously, it's to clean everything. And what we're gonna do as well, the mainspring. I don't know. You see, it looks quite old as well. This type of mainspring, you see, is blue, and the shape as well is the kind of old shape. Just gonna put a brand new mainspring inside this watch, and now we're just gonna disassemble the bar for the alarm. You see, we have another ratchet wheel that was on there, and same thing, gonna disassemble and remove the mainspring. What we're gonna do, we're gonna reuse the alarm. You see, the alarm is let's say less it's working, so you don't need like a lot of extra power, obviously, for the timekeeping, which is very important to have a nice amplitude. For the alarm, it's a bit less, so we're gonna keep the original mainspring for the alarm. And now what we're gonna remove it, you see there, from the barrel, and we're gonna clean it with the rest of the parts. You see, I'm just unwinding there, very slowly unwinding. You see there the alarm mainspring. Perfect. You see that very slowly until the end. Just gonna remove fully this mainspring. Just need to be careful as well, because this mainspring have a lot of power. So it can jump, and like for example, the power of the barrel there well can go through the room. So you need to be very careful. Right. What I'm doing right now, I'm just using my stacking set there, just to, you remember, it was too much play there on the hole where you have the barrel assembly, and I just tightened up a tiny bit, like the hole. I just closed it, and now I'm just using a smoothing brush here, just to open it a tiny bit. And you see there, I'm just looking if the barrel just is fitting there, and it's still too small. So just gonna open it a tiny bit by tiny bit, just to have the perfect size at the end. That looks good. Yeah, it looks good. What I'm gonna do on all the part as well there, the part I just tighten up a bit. I'm just gonna do a polish, you see there, on the parts, just using what's called E-Flex there, and just gonna polish, you see, all the side, and just to make sure there is no like the minimum amount of friction on these parts. Just gonna do it obviously on all the bridges and all the parts. Gonna do it as well, you see, on the barrel parts, because again, like we gonna use some oil, but we want on a watch the friction to be reduced to a minimum, because the friction, or else it will be dissipated in the friction there. So we want like to have like I said, the minimum amount. Just do the same thing you see there on the center wheel. Just gonna do the same thing as well on the barrel assembly of the alarm complication. And basically we'll have like most of the parts with the least amount of friction. Gonna do a pre-cleaning as well, you see, on the biggest part there, before we put it inside the cleaning machine. Just gonna remove like the biggest part of the dust, if you want, and dirt. There we go. Gonna clean, you see there, quick cleaning, you see there on the parts before we put them in the baskets and put them inside my cleaning machine. I'm just using my compress there just to do a quick drying. As always, we are gonna always put, like, you know, the balance assembly on the main plate, just to make sure it doesn't get damaged, especially the spring inside. And now we're gonna put all the parts. You see, I'm gonna start by the small parts in these small baskets, and you see we're gonna put all the other parts in other baskets. And like I said, we're just gonna try to keep them in families, so like that is easier during cleaning, is easier during reassembly. And you see there's quite a lot of parts on this watch. And all of that will go inside my cleaning machine, my vintage Elma cleaning machine there. What we're gonna do, we're gonna first clean the watch in a first solution, leave it for 5 minutes, and then we will do 2 rinsing for about 3 minutes, and we finish by drying the parts. Just to tell you as well that I have my Patreon page. I put a link down below on the description of this video, and I will put a link as well on the top left corner of this video. I would like to thank you, my existing patron. You will see there on my Patreon, which are supporting me. And if you want to go there on my Patreon page, you can watch, for example, the video there without any commercial. I just put as well, I will send you some stickers as well of this channel for free if you subscribe to my Patreon page. And you will see a lot more as well information. I just put some video as well what's going on, which is only on my Patreon. So if you want to go there as well and support the channel, you can go to my Patreon page, subscribe to one of the plan, and it will help as well my channel a lot. And thank you already for all the patrons which are supporting me on my Patreon page. Okay, so now I put a brand new mainspring. Like I said, we change and we use a brand new one. Perfect. Just put it inside. It's already greased, like a brand new. When you have a new mainspring, it already come pre-greased if you want. So you don't need to put any grease on this automatic manual mainspring there. Just gonna close it as well with my Orotech tool, just to press on it, just to close the barrel assembly. And we're gonna put a drop of oil. Remember, there's the pivot points on this barrel assembly that we polished with my tool there with some E-Flex on it, and with some oil. Again, the friction will be even reduced, and the use, like the wear, will be used as well, will be reduced as well on this part. Just rewind, you see the mainspring from the alarm assembly. Like I said, I will reuse this mainspring, just using my special tools there from Bergeon to rewind the mainspring. Just removing, you see there, the handle there, and we'll have a nice, there we go, a nice mainspring ready to be put back together. But first, we're going to put some oil there on this mainspring here. Special grease for mainspring. And now, here we go. Just put a mainspring inside. Just going to reassemble the rest of the barrel assembly. And we're going to close it again with my tool there. Perfect. Just checking if everything is okay. And we're going to oil it like we did on the other one as well with my automatic oiler there. What we're going to do next, we're going to do an epilem treatment on some of the parts. The epilem, again, is to keep the oil or the grease that we're going to put like on the surface. It's not going to spray on the surface. So that's what we're going to do now. Just do it, you see, on a pallet fork, on the escape wheel, and some of the ruby of the balance assembly. Just going to dry them now. Then we're going to remove the epilem from the pivot point of the pallet fork and the escape wheel there. That's what I'm doing there. Just going to do that obviously on both sides of these two parts. And then we're going to put a drop of oil on the ruby, you see there, right in the center. And we're going to put the chaton back on top. Perfect. You will see we'll have a nice drop of oil right in the center of the jewel there. Just do the same thing on the other side, obviously. We have both sides of the balance wheel. And then we're going to obviously put them on the balance. You see there on the shock setting. Right in the middle there, aligning with the balance staff of the balance assembly, the pivot point of the balance assembly. Just do the same thing on this side. We see the nice drop of oil right in the center there. Perfect. And just checking if everything is okay on the balance assembly, if the mainspring is fully flat, if it's fully concentric. And you see it's not perfectly flat. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to adjust, just unleash, you see this screw there, and I'm just going to press to make the hairspring there just go down a tiny bit, a very, very small amount there. I just went down, and now I'm just going to tighten it again. And we'll see when it's done, we're going to remove the balance assembly. Now it's adjusted and it's oiled correctly and fully clean, obviously. And you see there on the balance, you see the number of this caliber. We saw it's two letter AS, which is actually a watchmaker. I mean, a caliber maker, which is not existing anymore. It's like ETA if you want today. And this company made a lot of different calibers. Obviously, they are not existing anymore. They went down, I guess, by the quartz crisis, and they got bought as well by other company. I think maybe it was even integrated a bit later on with ATA. It's the same thing. ATA bought a lot of other company. But this company is not existing anymore. And they made a lot of great caliber at the time, like ETA and still ETA today. They made like obviously standard calibers, but a lot of caliber as well with complication. For example, like you see this alarm, and this alarm was used in a lot of different brands that wanted to make a watch with alarm complication, like for example Tudor at this time. And this is a great caliber. Obviously, there is other brand that were using alarm. For example, Vulcan, that I think was the first one created this alarm complication. They were making their in-house caliber, and Jaeger as well made a lot of caliber with alarm function as well. So there is a lot of different brands that made their own caliber. But like for example Tudor at the time, it was the same thing. I mean, Tudor was, and still is today part of the Rolex group, and Tudor is like, let's say, the cheaper version of the Rolex brand. And at the time they were not making their own caliber. Even if you take, for example, the Submariner from Tudor, they was using ETA caliber inside and not Rolex caliber. So you see, that's why they were as well a bit cheaper, because the ETA caliber was always cheaper than a Rolex caliber. And it's the same for this one. They used another, they was not doing in-house caliber that today Tudor is doing in-house caliber, or sometimes some collaboration with other brands. But it was very different before. And again, great caliber, even the Tudor. And this is as well one of the, personally, I like Tudor, the brand. And like, for example, if you have vintage tubers, for example, a lot of people send me, and I made some online as well, some of the vintage Submariner, Tudor Submariner. They are much cheaper to restore compared to, even if you take, for example, Tudor from the 70s, it's an ETA inside, so you can find a lot of parts. But on a Rolex from the 70s, the parts are very expensive. And just to tell you, you see there, I'm just disassembling, you see the bar assembly there, because I did a mistake. I don't know if you noticed, but I forgot, and this is something that you need to be very careful. Obviously, it doesn't cause, it doesn't get any damage, but I forgot to put this screw, because this screw, you see there, you have a shoulder on it, And if you put it, you see now I put it first. When you put the bridge, the screw cannot come out. So if you forget to put it, you cannot put back the screw after through the bridge because you have this shoulder on it. So it's always something you need to be careful when you have a screw on a setting lever. You need to make sure most of the time don't forget to put it before putting the bridge on the barrel bridge there. Now I just put, you see, the assembly for the alarm complication, and you see there, you will see I need to disassemble again. I will need to disassemble because I did a mistake again. I don't know if you notice which one, but I did a mistake on this side as well of the barrel assembly. Just gonna realign, you see there, the jewels just before I realized it was something missing on his assembly. Just putting the screws, you see there. Perfect. Just gonna oil, you see, grease, is more grease there on this wheel. That's actually this wheel, when it's gonna spin, this is gonna make this armor go back and forth and make this sound, and this go very very fast when you rotate. So that's why I'm gonna grease everything on this wheel there. Just gonna reassemble, you see there, the click, because obviously you will have a click on both sides on its caliber, one from the alarm and one from the timekeeping. Perfect. Just put it in position. You see there. Just release the spring here. Perfect. Just gonna oil as well. You see there the pivot point. I'm just gonna put the wheel here, but you will see after a bit I realize again, like I said, I made a mistake underneath, because you see there the height is not right. It's strange. And actually I forgot another part, and that's why I need to disassemble everything here. Actually, there is two ratchet wheel if you want on this barrel. One on the top that I was trying to put right now, and actually there is one underneath. So that's why I remove, you see there, the barrel assembly there from the alarm, and underneath you will see there you have another square shape that need to drive another wheel here. And this ratchet wheel actually is giving information to the alarm mechanism on the dial side. So that's why you need to have this connected to the dial side. So that's why you have one underneath as well. So I just put it in position right now, and obviously now I'm just going to reassemble the rest of the assembly. So I just need to remove, you see there, this wheel first, just so before I put the barrel assembly. There we go. And now we'll just reassemble the rest like we just did. Put back the bridge, and the last part will be this ratchet wheel there on top. Then I need to align. Perfect. Going to secure it with this big screw here. And now you see the armor. Even when I'm turning, the armor start to vibrate when we have this wheel turning. And now we're gonna move on a dial side. Just gonna reassemble. Obviously, we said on his watch we have two keyless work. We have one for the time and one for the alarm. We're gonna do first. We're gonna reassemble the keyless work of the timekeeping. And you see there we are more or less on a standard type of keyless work with the clutch there. We see just putting the setting lever. We're just gonna put the yoke there. Just gonna oil as well all the pivot point. You see there putting the yoke. and you see like on this part of the mechanism you will see a lot of friction. So that's why I put this blue grease, which is a lot more thicker than the oil. Perfect. And now we just put you see the yoke spring there. And we're just gonna put there, you see there, the last part there, which is actually a spring. You will see there, we're gonna arm, when you put this screw in position, we're gonna arm the, you see there, this is a spring. Perfect. And that gives the two position on this part there, you see, 1, 2. One position for winding and one position for changing the time on this keyless work. Just gonna remove the excess of grease on the keyless work. And just move, you see now, on the train of wheel and look at the state of this ruby. Wow. And I think like somebody went and sanded the top of this bridge, and you see even this same ruby, you see it's like it's broken on the other side. And this is not good because like that can damage the friction. So what we're gonna change the ruby on this bridge. Just gonna remove, you see this jewel there. Just gonna use this tool just to gonna push it out of the way. Push it fully. There we go. And now basically we're gonna use this tool to find the correct dimension of the jewel. So first the outside of the jewel, gonna use, you see this tool which measure very precisely. You see the diameter of the jewel that I'm putting down, and we see it's so it's 1.29 millimeter on diameter of this jewel. You see we have this tool go to hundreds of a millimeter, or the precision. And now I'm just going to use this rule just to find the diameter of the inside hole that you have on the jewel. So you see I'm just using the wheel there that's going to go through the pivot point of this wheel that's going to go through the jewel. And I'm just finding which, you see, ruby, obviously the diameter of the inside hole is becoming smaller and smaller. And you see there on 15 it doesn't fit anymore. So we have 16, which is fitting. But it's like, you see, it doesn't turn very freely. Like it's like it's too tight. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put like probably the size to a 17 for the inside diameter of the inside hole there. I managed to find a ruby with this correct size. The outside diameter is the inside diameter, and basically we're gonna put a brand new one. Obviously this one is not damaged like the old one. And first we're gonna put it in position, again using this tool. So this tool, I use it to put it in position, and as well you will have a micrometric thread on this tool just to adjust the depth of the jewel, because again on a train of wheel, that's what I'm gonna do right now. You see now I just put it in position. I'm just gonna go a bit deeper on like put the jewel a bit deeper. And what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna put it like on a train of wheel, especially the center wheel there, which was the one we had the issue with the jewel. Just gonna put the bridge back on top. Just gonna check what's called the handshake, if the wheel is moving up and down. And you see there is way too much handshake. It's moving up and down too much. So we want a tiny bit, but not too much. So what we're gonna do now is just gonna go back to the same tool and just press it a tiny bit by tiny bit until we have the perfect depth of the jewel there. And now it's okay. So we can reassemble the rest of the train of wheel. So putting, you see there, the escape wheel, just aligning on a ruby. Put back, you see again the rest of the train of wheel. Just gonna put a drop of oil there. And now we're gonna realign everything on the bridge on all the jewels. The other jewels were fine, so we only changed the one that was obviously broken and damaged. So yeah, quite a lot of stuff to change on this watch, you see. And we see it's not finished. There is still some surprise. And now you see, yeah, it went in the right place. So now just keeping everything in position with the screws. Perfect. And you see everything is turning. Great, good news. So we can carry on with the rest. Obviously, we're gonna finish the timekeeping by putting, you see there, the pallet fork. Put it in position. You remember there was a one that was like very hard to be disassembled. It was stuck to this bridge. So just gonna realign it. You see, realign the bridge there. And when it's in position, you see there, just try to find the right place of the pivot point. Yeah, here we go. Just gonna secure it there with the screw. Just gonna wind the watch to put the power inside the train of wheel and up to the pallet fork. We're just gonna check if the power, yeah, we see the pallet fork is clicking, so it means the power is coming to the pallet fork. That's always a good news. What we're gonna do first under the microscope, we're gonna grease, you see there, the existing jewel of the pallet forks, just to make sure there is like lubrication between the jewels and the teeth of the escape wheel there. Just gonna do that a few times until each tooth of the escape wheel is greased. There we go. Just go very slowly. You see, move the pallet fork tooth by tooth there. Perfect. Just gonna oil as well all the like the ruby and the pivot points on the watch. You see on the train of wheel here. Just gonna do it as well on both sides. Now we do as well on the alarm parts. And when everything is oiled, we're gonna put the balance assembly. Just very slowly put it in position. Turn it into the right position. And see if it's starting again. Very slowly. Just until you find the right position. There we go. Oh, that's it. Perfect. The caliber is moving, it's starting. We see the balance assembly. Just gonna secure it with a screw. And we have again a running caliber. That's a very good news. Just gonna screw it in position. And now I can focus on reassembling the rest of the complication, which is the alarm on this watch. So we're gonna reassemble the keyless work there for the alarm function. You see, like starting with the same type of parts. We have a setting lever there. Just need to be screwed from the other side. We have this huge part, you see, with two wheels, and which will rock as well from left to right to give the information to the right position. For example, if you want to wind the watch, or if you want to change, I mean, like you wind the alarm mechanism, or if you want as well to change the alarm position. And you see again, we have a nice spring to give the two position on his crown there. You will see as well a lot of springs on this part of the mechanism. Obviously, all this spring will give the tension for the parts. Obviously, the spring, when they are under tension, they store some power. So when the part is moving, obviously it's a spring that will make the parts move with the power of the spring. So that's why we put, like you see, a lot of different spring on this part. You see there, a very tricky one to put in position. Perfect. And now you see we're gonna grease and oil, more oil in this case. Like you see, like these parts I will come and connect to the alarm, mechanism. Now we're gonna cover everything, just this plate on top there, just to make sure that the parts underneath will stay in position. Perfect. And then we're gonna carry on the rest of the parts, which is a mix of parts actually. We're gonna put, like, for example, the minute wheel, the cannon pinion, and after we're gonna put all the parts for the alarm. So you see, put the cannon pinion there, just put a intermediate wheel there that will be connected to the minute wheel that I'm putting right now. And now, actually, this one is not the right part to put first, but now we're gonna put, like you see, these parts, our wheel, which is a bit different. You see, with this kind of hooks that you have, like, which I'm greasing right now, which is actually, you will see these hooks will align with the wheel that I'm just gonna put on top. This wheel there, which is the alarm wheel, and actually you see this hook when they come and align with these 3 holes that you have on the inside diameter of this wheel. Actually, the wheel underneath the wheel will go up when the hook go inside this hole, and that's why the alarm will start. It will be the trigger for the alarm to be start, and actually will unleash the parts that restrain, if you want, the hammer for the alarm, and obviously the alarm will start to ring. And you see there the amplitude on this part is, well, it's not great, around 230. And I noticed that one of the parts is not right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove the power, and you will see there is one of the wheel from the train of wheels that was a bit bent. Like I didn't like this part. So I'm just gonna disassemble. You see the train of wheel there, and I just managed to get a brand new wheel, and you will see this is actually the part which is the damage is this one, the center wheel. You see it's being very long. You need to be very careful when you disassemble these parts, because we see if you put it at an angle, you can bend this huge pivot point there. So I just got a brand new one, and like I said, on this caliber, it's very easy to find some of the parts, and they're not that expensive, because obviously if you are on a Jaeger-LeCoultre, or even Rolex don't do, or even like a Patek Philippe, if you want to find the parts for the caliber, which is very specific, like the cost of the parts can be 10 times higher than this one. So yeah, that's why I say on this caliber, yeah, it's good to have, like, this type of caliber is cheaper to maintain. Just do you see quick cleaning there on the case. I will do as well a quick polish as well on a crystal, just to remove every scratches that there is on a crystal, to have a nice polish on the crystal. And I'm gonna focus as well, like I said at the beginning, we didn't like, and the owner as well didn't like, the lume on the hands. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna remove the lume, and you see I just do it on a fluid there. It's always easier. You see, like, obviously, like, all this broken lume will stay in the water, and obviously it's easier as well to be broken under water there. So I'm just gonna fully remove this old, I mean, it's not very old, I think that was redone, like, it's not original, this green, and it doesn't fit with the watch. So just gonna do, and you will see the result, just gonna do, let's say, a more natural type of patina on the hand. So I'm just gonna grab them right now, and just gonna do a quick cleaning on the hand first. And you see, using my absorbing paper there, just to do a quick clean on this end. And now we're gonna do, you see, I just put a hand on some radicals there, just to keep them in position. And I'm just gonna prepare the lume if you want, just to be put back on the dial. And you see I use this magic mixture there, just to give it this kind of patina color. And I'm just gonna put it, you see now, on the hand. So you need to go very slowly. This one, this time, it was a tiny bit more. It was too liquid, like the lume. So it's always, sometimes you need to wait a bit for the lume to thicken a bit, and it's easier to put it on your hands. So this one is a bit thin. So you see, by going very slowly, just putting, you see there, the lume in the hand there until it go to the hand perfectly. There we go, perfect. And when it's at the end, obviously everything will stay in position. Just do the same thing there, you see, on our hand. Perfect. Just gonna let it dry, and when it's dry, obviously we can carry on the rest of the assembly by putting the hands. So first we're gonna put the alarm hand there. Just gonna align it perfectly at midnight, 12 o'clock. Just gonna press it with my Orotech tool there. And now I'm gonna put this beautiful hand there, which are now with a new lume on it. Just gonna align it as well to midnight, just to make sure the alarm and our hands at minute 10 later on will be aligned perfectly to have the alarm starting when at 12 o'clock, for example. If the alarm is at 12 o'clock, obviously we're gonna check a bit later on if everything is aligned perfectly. Just put a minute hand now. Just checking now the alarm if everything is aligned. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Just a couple of minutes. Obviously, on this type of watch, you don't have a very high precision on the alarm, but yeah, that's very, very good. And just the last hand now, which is a second hand. Okay, so now just gonna focus back on the case. Actually, I use the original crystal. The original crystal was glued on the case, so that's what I'm doing right now. Just put some UV glue on the case, and now we're gonna do putting the crystal that we just polished back on it, and we're gonna cure it inside a UV lamp, just for the glue to do this job. When it's cured under the UV, just gonna leave it for a couple of minutes there. And now we're just gonna do, you see now the crystal is ready and good in position. We're just gonna clean and remove all the dust by vacuuming first and blowing some air, you see there, on the case and the dial, because we don't want to have any dust to be trapped between the dial and the crystal. Just put that in position. Just gonna put back the two waning stem you see on this watch. Putting back the first one, you see, in position. Just gonna tighten it, you see there, with the screw. And obviously you need to do the same thing as well with the second one. Perfect. It's in position. Just gonna secure, you see, the screw there that keeps the caliber nice and center inside the case. Just gonna put a brand new O-ring as well. You remember the old one that was not correct, and I was rubbing against the balance assembly that was preventing the watch from running. So now the watch, you can see, is running perfectly. So just put a brand new O-ring there. You see on around this groove. Perfect. And obviously we're gonna close this case back. You see we have a first the case back here, and we have this ring tightening everything together. Just gonna use, you see there, my Orotech custom tool, and I will put a link down below in the description as well from some of the tools that I'm using, some for Orotech, and as well some of the websites I'm using that are from eBay, where you can buy some of the tools from France, some of the tools that I'm using. So you find a link down below in the description as well. And you see this one was quite tricky to tighten up, and now I'm just gonna demagnetize the watch. And before we see the result, just to tell you as well that I have my own website, and I will put a link down below in the description, and as well on the top right corner there of my website you can see some of the watch which are for sales, as well some of the watch that I restored on this channel, and as well, like for example my customers that send this watch from the US, you can contact me on my website, and I will be very happy to work on your watch and to restore it again as well. Just to see the result on this watch as well, we see on the time grapher the timekeeping only a couple of seconds losing per day. The amplitude is around 260, 250, which is not bad for this type of vintage watch, which is obviously running very well. And we see a lot of issue on this watch, a lot of issue that we did. So I really like working, and look at this beauty. And we see now, we hear the beautiful alarm on this watch, and with this hand the watch is very, very nice, beautiful watch. I really like working on this watch, and I hope as well you like working on this beautiful, and you see this nice alarm, this nice sound on this beautiful Tudor, a nice gold-plated case as well. And I hope the owner will be very proud and will wear this beautiful watch again. It will be ready for many, many years. So I hope you like the video, and I see you next time for the next watch. Bye bye.